Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chop Talk, the one we don't do a lot.
Says true. This is true.
We are here to talk LPW. This is the first time for Mel on this show talking some LPW.
Poppin' cherries. We had to get the perversion out of the way because Lord help us.
Oh god, the perversion will last forever. Come on.
Always and forever.
Yeah, so we got to check out this past Friday, yesterday for us, but when the show comes out, this past Friday, LPW 16. I think you should Lariat.
And why the hell not?
It's a play off of the name Netflix show. I think you should leave. So he was playing video.
Oh, you didn't explain that to me before the show because they were running the. Oh, now that everything happening on the screen makes sense.
You were talking to Tisha so much that I didn't get a chance. When I was telling Andreas and Kat that, they went, "Oh, you were off talking to people."
It is what it is. I'm a social butterfly.
You very much are. So, I'm Andre C. over here, the taco butterfly Melball.
Oh my God, could you imagine? I want to go to that botanical garden. My goodness.
So we are here talking some LPW 16. So we are going to get into it. LPW 16. I think you should Lariat. Featuring on the main poster, Shazza McKenzie, who was on this show.
In the Astrid pose.
Yeah, Astrid pose. Yeah, perfect. Three pose.
Perfect clip for her.
Perfect clip. There we go. So yeah, Shaz McKenzie's first time wrestling in Canada.
Yeah. See, popping cherries.
Australian.
So many cherries.
We kick it off the night off with a son of Irish versus the Thickness Reid Mathews. This match was awesome. Thick came out of the gate just like a beast, as he always does. Irish just flying around, he just running, leaping, just plancha over the top, just the leaping plancha. Just looks so good to the floor. Just Thickness crashing into the chairs. It looks so good. Thickness catching Irish, coming off the second, and then just pops him with a overhead belly-to-belly suplex, literally sending him across the ring, and then he end up sliding out.
Yeah, he yeeted him pretty good there, yeah.
Yeah, and Thickness is laying in. He's always laying. When he's cracking those forearms on anybody, he's just smashing people in the head.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, it's violence is written on his fingers there. I mean, that's what the Thickness is. My goodness.
Violence.
Times 3.
Yeah. I always love when he does the lifts up and then the Falcon Arrow down and then just goes back and just runs a knee into somebody's face. It just looks so brutal. Yeah, Irish reversing a suplex into the Stun Dog Millionaire onto Thickness. Enziguri to Thickness, and it comes off the top with a flying kick to Thickness, and then he hits the Spanish Fly off the second rope. Spinning Samoan drop by Son of Irish for 2. Irish misses a lariat, and Thick hits this just sick inside out lariat, just sending Irish flying. But he goes for the pin, but he pulled Irish up, and people in the crowd are yelling, "You're gonna pay for that one, Thickness!" And I loved it. So he decides he's gonna go for his finish, the Blue Thunder Bomb. But Irish reverses it into the IRA cutter, and Irish gets the win.
They say I didn't know it was called the IRA.
Well, I don't know if he calls it that, but his dad always calls it the IRA. So
fair. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was fun. This was a great opener, actually. I was surprised that it was like a title match to open up, but gosh damn.
I think a bunch of shows in a row now, this has gone on first. It's always been the Challenge Champion seems to be the opening match on every show. It's kind of been like when Mitch was champion, he was always coming out and having just these brutal beat people down matches. And since Irish has picked up the belt, he's just been coming out and having these crazy, exciting, just way to kick off a show in the best possible way kind of matches. So
excellent. Yeah, it was definitely booked very good in that respect, especially with how the rest of the show went.
Oh, very much so. So yeah, again, awesome match. I love me some Irish. I think this kid's amazing. Thick. This is just a absolute beast.
Thickness.
He's a beast. The thick beast.
The quick, thick.
We move on. It's the Radz, Rich King, and Lumberjack Larry Woods taking on Shaun Moore, Phil Deadly. They're just more deadly, you know.
Oh yeah.
I missed the first couple minutes of this match. I had to run out to my car, so I missed the
yeah. You disappeared for a hot minute, but you came back pretty quick.
Oh yeah, I got the back. So I came back, and Moore just hit this sick German to Rich King, just crushing him on his head. Rich ends up missing like a chocolate slide to the outside where you go, like where Mark Henry would go through the ropes sliding on a guy. He missed that, and he ends up in the ropes, and then Phil Deadly just grabs him and just slams him out of the ropes. Looked really good. Huge spine buster by Shaun Moore. Just crushing Larry, and then hits a beautiful delayed suplex to Rich King. This guy is an absolute monster. He's so good. He's so good. Deadly hits a lift up into the neck breaker. Then Moore hits the out of the corner. He goes where he stands upside down on his head in the corner. Koji! And then comes down with the elbow. TKR RKO combo by the Radz onto Shaun Moore, but Phil Deadly gets in to break up the pin with a really he literally crawled over and just pushed. I think it was Larry, just kind of shoved Larry. It was the weirdest pin breakup I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think by this point in the match, Phil had been kind of in and out a little bit. Him and Moore were kind of tagging in and out, but I noticed that there was one point where his knee, I don't know what happened, but it seemed like he was having some knee issues. So maybe that kind of contributed to him, because he knew he would have to break up the pin, but you got to do what you got to do to get there, right?
Yeah. So the end of the match, the top. But then Thaddeus Archer III is up on the balcony, starts yelling, has a microphone, starts yelling into it, distracts Thad. So Moore literally runs up, jumps up in the air, and backstabbers Larry off the top to the mat, then hits his TKO into the stunner and gets the win. Absolutely tremendous finish there. Just that backstabber off the top was nuts.
Yeah. That was utterly incredible. I don't know why Shaun Moore is still here. You know what I mean? He should be off gallivanting somewhere in Japan, with Gigi. It just
or
talent.
Or working for a big name company. I don't know how this guy hasn't been signed. He is so.
Well, that's what I mean. Gigi's been on AEW. She's going into Japan. She's doing stuff in other places. I don't know why he is still here. Also, the talent that he has is just so tremendous. His in-ring talent is great. He can sell like a mamma jamma. His promos, he's got a great promo after here. And the promo was interesting to me, because his verbiage was not what I would expect out of a tag team individual or someone focused on a tag team. It wasn't, we want the titles, we want the championships, we want gold around our waist. It was, I want a title, I want a championship, I want gold around my waist. I don't think Shaun Moore cares who helps him get it, whether it's Phil, whether it's somebody else. He's determined to be a champion in this area, and I think he's going to get it.
Bring back Alexander Prime.
I thought you were going to say Alex Zane for a second. I was going to be like, my guy, he's got G1 commitments.
I wouldn't mind Zane, but yeah, I want him to bring back Alexander Prime as partner, because I thought when those two were teaming up years and years ago, I thought they were absolutely one of the best teams going. And
100%.
Yeah, the best.
Larry's bald spot hella over with this crowd too.
There was multiple Larry's bald spot chants.
Multiple.
And even Thad says, I can see your bald spot from all the way up here. And just make, just oh, that's mean. He's got a bald spot, but it's but again, it's his fault for accentuating the bald spot by having longer hair. If you cut your hair short, people don't see the bald spot as bad.
Fair enough. I also didn't see that. I couldn't tell what was happening for a while there. I just heard someone start yelling, and I was like, what's going on?
And it took me a second. I'm looking around. I'm like, where the fuck is Thad?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little confusing. He was kind of standing in an area that was not lit at all, so it was very difficult to kind of figure out where he was. And even Larry, I think, was confused about where he was. But yeah, after a while, you can just follow the voice of annoyance and find where he is.
And I think everybody started focusing and looking up top, and that's when I realized, hey, they're up there.
I honestly, at that point, didn't even know that there were upper floors.
Oh yeah, that's why I sat for the first LPW show back a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. Yeah, that's where I sat, was up top. Yeah. But again, absolutely tremendous match, and I can't wait to see what more does, especially in the tag team division. It's like, will it be Deadly next time? Will it be somebody else? Well, it's like, if he's getting dominant wins, does it matter who his partner is?
I'm going to assume, based on what happened after he cut his promo, where the tag team champions Sheik Akbar and Berat came out there and jumped the two of them with wet floor signs for some reason, that maybe, that kind of really accentuated the knee injury that Deadly had on there. So maybe not. I don't know. I was just singing black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. And Kat sent you Shaun Moore's theme song?
She did not.
Oh shit! I'll make sure to send it to you. It's hip hop. It's a song called Hip Hop. It's absolutely amazing.
She might have. There was 3 that she sent me, and I didn't listen to them yet.
Oh, okay, I'm pretty sure she, because I saw her copying it when we were sitting at the table.
That wouldn't surprise me. I got a few music.
If you want to hear a dope ass theme song, go on to Spotify. Just all you fans out there, and look up the Love Pro Wrestling playlist and go to Hip Hop. It's legitimately the best song.
I have to agree. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. We move on. It's Sebastian Wolfe versus Jared Rogers. Wolfe just yeeting Rogers around. He was tossing around for the first couple of minutes, and Rogers ends up on top, and he comes off the top and hits like what I can only assume was a sling blade off top, because he kind of rolled around him and he pulled him down.
Yeah,
It looked really good. Just the way he did it. I just had never seen a sling blade come off the top like that. I was like, I think that was a sling blade. It looked really good. He had a couple of
like sling blade.
He's really he's got that sling blade down pretty darn well for being as new as he is. He's for as new as he is, he's got it down pretty well. Again,
I'm not going to disagree. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pulled off very well.
Wolfe ends up catching Rogers hopping, like he's running in these jumps, and he catches them and just spins and just power slams, like he just takes him on his shoulder and just crashes him into the mat with a power slam. Just looked like he killed him. Wolfe literally stands up after that and stomps on the back of Rogers' head. Just stomps on the sensitive spot, like multiple times. Spot you shouldn't be hitting somebody in. Jesus.
But cover up.
Yeah.
Head.
Yeah. Tiger. Wolfe hits a tiger bomb. Then he picks him up and hits a sit out tiger bomb. And I think everybody thought it was over right here. And this kid kicks out at the last possible freaking microsecond, and the crowd just goes because they love Jared Rogers. Wolfe puts Rogers up top, goes up, but Rogers ends up knocking him off and jumps on his back and gets a rear naked choke and getting him down to the mat. And then once he's down on the mat, he turns it into like a dragon sleeper. But then he reverses it into an X-plex, like the release suplex. Looked really good. And then Wolfe comes running at him for the spear. And Jared sunset flips over. It gets a 2 count. And then as they break up and Wolfe's coming at him again, he pulls him into a small package and steals the goddamn win, slides out the ring and runs to the far side of the building, just like against the wall celebrating.
Well, because he had to, because if Wolfe would have gotten his hands on him again, I think he probably would have paid for it. This was a fun one. You could definitely tell the experience different. It was definitely a new guy versus a veteran. That, like, as you mentioned, that sling blade was amazing. That was the only thing that I really remember out of. Was it Rogers?
Yeah, Rogers.
I can't remember his name.
Jared Rogers.
Oh, okay, Jared. Okay, that's what I thought his name was, but I didn't want to mess it up. Yeah, the sling blade was the only thing I really remember, except for the finish. But yeah, This was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see more of Wolfe. Wolfe performed very, very good. And I was asking you about it after because I was like, again, this is my first time seeing the show. I didn't really know a lot of the guys. I didn't know a lot of the feuds or anything that was kind of going on. So I'm very curious to see the tag team that Wolfe is a part of again.
State of Emergency, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you saw them like a last year, probably at RCW. I think you did see them. Because I remember sitting at a show and they were on it. And me and
I was not there. This was my first time seeing this guy.
I could have swore we saw him, but maybe.
Do I have doppelgangers running around Edmonton that I don't know about? Kill them.
I remember seeing you there with you and Cody and Eric watching a show and them being on it. So
it was not them.
RCW. So
it was not them. This was my first time seeing him.
All right, weird. Okay, my memory's not greatest anyway. So
I mean, relatable.
So we move on to a 6-person tag match. It's Sevens, Marz the Specialist, TJ Cannon, and Jack Pride taking on the Clandestine Societies, TFA, Taryn from Accounting, Stephen Crowe, and Michael Richard Blais. I have a lot of notes, but I'm going to just skip through a bunch of them. Marz hitting the release German, Blais just landing on his belly, and then he grabs him and just hits this beautiful snap power slam right after. Mm-hmm. Absolutely phenomenal. There was a blockbuster heart attack from Blais and TFA. I didn't write who that was on to. That was for 2. Crowe comes off the rope.
I feel like that was Cannon.
No, it probably was. It probably was Cannon because I hope Cannon takes every bit of beating. So, mm-hmm. Crowe comes off the top, bounces off the rope, and just stomps the chest of Marz and just lands on the foot chest and just takes him all the way to the ground with it. It looked really good. Mm-hmm. Follows it up with a butterfly backbreaker and the double knees in the corner. But he goes up. He's going to come off top with the flying knee. But Thad grabs his foot and Marz just shoves him off and he just goes smashing into the apron. It looked like I was just like, oh,
Youch.
God. Yeah. There's a triple doomsday device by 7 where they picked him up and I think one of them came off the top and they hit a doomsday device with a drop kick, I think. And Crowe just barely kicked out of that one. Then they got a gory special double flatliner combo. Clandestine Society did to Cannon and Marz. They had them both up in the gory specials, and Crowe grabbed them, and they came back with the flatliners. I thought that was I've never seen a move. I've never seen that move, and I really loved it. They did a great job. I'm gonna pop to the end here. Pride and Blais are facing off, just beating the living holy hell out of each other. Blais ends up on top, misses a 450. Pride misses a standing moonsault. Blais hits a Spanish fly, and then Pride hits a suplex. Both men are down. So Marz comes in. He's gonna try to use the chair, but Larry runs out, pulls the chair out of his hands, but gets in the ring with the chair. And Blais puts his hand on his back saying, "Hey, what the fuck, man?" And he hits Blais with the chair, and the ref just calls the match up. And they announced that
Stu.
Might have been Stu. I think probably was Stu because
fucking Stu.
Hey, in this situation he did okay, but it's the end of the night that pissed me off. That's why I'm going to boo him next show. I'm going to boo you.
Just a constant frustration.
Yeah. And then it just turns into just all-out brawl between the Radz, 7, and Clandestine Society. Everybody's just beating each other up. Everybody's just kicking the shit out of each other. Spencer's coming out just yelling at people, telling them to stop. He's yelling on the mic. He's like, "Go to the back." And Ben just comes flying over to Thad and just cracks him in the face. Those two are brawling on the stage. It was great. Great follow-up to the brawl in the crowd from a few shows ago. Ben and Thad were literally brawling, felt right behind me where we were sitting. They were brawling right there at 4 or 5 shows ago. So you're lucky they weren't brawling right beside you, because I think they kind of crashed into Andreas that last show. So
you guys got to be careful with that. You start hitting fans are going to get involved.
Yeah, but yeah, just a giant brawl. Absolutely. Spencer going, as you said, Vince McMahon. And Kat starts, this is the best part, Kat starts cheering Daddy Spencer.
Why? I'm not even going to make that comment that I said about that. We're just gonna go into. I really I think I mentioned a couple times to Kat throughout the night. I really enjoyed Stephen Crowe's outfit in that. So was this a new outfit for him?
Yeah, because the pink one you see in the picture is his regular. He has a pink version of what you kind of saw tonight.
Oh, okay.
His normal gear is, yeah.
I really liked it. Last time I also saw him, he had this like Malibu Barbie blonde hair. I really liked his haircut and his style with this one. It kind of felt more appropriate with the group that he was a part of. I really liked Taryn's gear where it had the kind of like half money, half black stuff and the little brooch thing in the middle. I thought that looked really, really fanciful. They looked also pretty unified. Obviously, the Clandestine Society, they're a faction. They're supposed to look unified. Seven kind of was unified in their own little way, but maybe not as quite. It was interesting. It was interesting to see these two teams because I didn't know the feuds that were going on. I saw a couple promos on Twitter that were coming out involving this match.
Yeah.
What was it that Marz did in the corner? I think he yeeted Crowe off of there. And he kind of did what Thekla usually does with the Tree of Woe thing, where he usually come back on, but instead he was distracted flipping off Stephen Crowe and ate Michael's boots.
Blais just like drop kicks the shit. That was great because he's like spider suplexed him off the top, right?
Yeah,
Then, but he just was like taunting, like he's upside down, hanging off the corner, just literally flipping Crowe off, and it's like Blais just kicks him in the face. It was just great.
Yeah. Obviously, there was obvious tension between the faction leaders, Michael and Pride. Pride tagging out every time he had to face Michael, saying, when we are ready, we'll do this." And that unfortunately left us with Cannon for most of the match. There's always going to be a weakest link,
and it's the Cannon. I hate that greasy little slime ball. He's just.
Well, I wasn't gonna go that far, but
I've said that kind of shit to his face. I have called him horrendous things to his face. I think that man is a pure scumbag, and he just is the worst of humans.
Okay, then. We're just gonna go with that. I'm just okay. He's kind of I don't even know if I can say he's the Bushi of the group. He's the Taka Michinoku of the group. I can't even say that. He falls really good. He takes moves really, really good, and he sells really good. His facial expression's really, really good. Mm-hmm. I just don't really enjoy his wrestling. The RCW was the first time I kind of saw him, and I definitely felt that he was overshadowed by his manager there.
I remember being at one show, and he was in a triple threat with like Barricade and somebody else, and he kept just sliding to the outside, right? And this is when I started screaming. This is the day I started yelling at him. Was because I'm like, get back in there, and me and him literally were getting it. We got into a shouting match. Me sitting in my standing up from my seat, and him. We were just yelling back and forth. I'm just telling him just because he's calling him a giant pussy, saying you can't wrestle. And
come on, man. If you're standing in the ring in your CJ Cannon, you're standing across from freaking Barricade. You're damn right you're going to be sliding out of the ring. I would too, my guy. I am 5'3". I have no survival skills. That guy would sit on me.
The other guy in the match was fighting. Come on, was fighting Barricade.
He was probably a comparable size if it was RCW, my guy. Yeah, he probably was. We're not going to talk about that one anymore. We're focusing on this one right now. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. Someone's mowing their lawn in the rain. Yeah, I don't know. North side. We're crazy up here. But yeah, as I said, like we can't just talk shit about him though. Like as I said, he falls really good. He sells really good. He takes moves really good. It looked great. And I think that's why he was in there as long as he was. What I would like to see is maybe him, because I know that Marz and Pride are involved in the Clandestine Society mini camps in their school and stuff. I'd like to see him maybe do a bit more there. Take a little bit more mentorship from his mentor, I guess. I mean, probably took a chance on him bringing on to 7. Be a little more worthy of it. Otherwise, I felt that this match was very, very solid. Very, very much a grudge match. Again, going into this match not knowing much about what was going on or why they were pissy with each other. The why didn't really matter in this. The payoff was the match. And to feel like we might be coming into like a triple header with the Radz in there, that could be fun.
I'm looking forward to whatever next month comes. There's going to be something, because again, all 3 of these teams are now
chaos, glorious chaos.
Oh, they're in Japan,
sir.
All right, we're gonna move on. We went to intermission. When we came back, the return match, it was Shazza McKenzie versus Gigi Rey. I was absolutely ecstatic for this match. I love Shazza McKenzie. I think she's absolutely phenomenal. Watching her matches online for a long while now. Gigi Rey, absolutely tremendous talent. I remember watching her when she first debuted. Back with PWA in 2020, right before the pandemic, she debuted, and then she won the title in like her first or second match against Zoe. And then the pandemic hit, and it ruined it. But these two have gone to war a couple times now with Love Pro Wrestling, and they're absolutely tremendous. And I'm so excited for what comes next with Zoe. But to this match, notice Shazza, she had like really cool gear on, but under the gear you could see she had taped up her shoulder. I'm like, I hope she's okay.
Yeah. I mean, but like, she's Australian, right? I mean, we've seen, Xena, see how hard those girls hit, and then we have our Stardom. I mean, most of the girls right now have their right arms taped up really, really heavily. So, heavy hitters, these girls.
They are. Big old drop kick by Gigi to side. Like the hop this girl has is great. And then hits the corner splash and a suplex for 2. Really good. Shazza dodges the sliding D, Kyrie sliding D towel move, and picks her up, just smashes her with the DDT. Looked really good. Gigi goes to the second rope for a drop kick, comes off, but Shazza steps out of the way and then just applies the Gato clutch perfectly. I was like, yeah. I looked at you and we're just like, Gato clutch.
It's funny because the first thing I was like, oh, European clutch, no Gato clutch.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah. It was like good
times, like, yes. Good times.
I love it when they pop out certain moves like that. I really do. Then she applies this like neck crank where she's like stepping over the leg and arm and like pulling on the neck, like just wrenching the neck. It looked really good, but Gigi did manage to get out of that one. Needs the back in the ropes, and then Shazza ties her. Okay, what the hell I'm just moving on for that one. That doesn't make sense. Ties her in the frozen. I'm pretty sure that's my auto.
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
I think it's my autocorrect messed that up. Yeah, that's definitely not it. Gigi gets a lariat, then a leg lariat, and hits a Michinoku driver, but only gets 2. I thought that was it. I'm like, she's doing the Micah finish, but it wasn't it. I was like, like a reverse like neck breaker X Factor style move by Gigi, and she does get the sliding D. Gigi ends up getting caught up top, and Shazza hits like a beautiful like fisherman buster, perfect plex.
Oh yeah!
She hits her that off the top. Big old backdrop driver by Shazza, and then runs her knee into the head of Gigi in the corner. It just looks sick. And they end up trading boots back and forth. And then Gigi hits this butterfly suplex, goes up top, and shout out to Will Ospreay. Hits a sky twister off the top to down Shazza McKenzie and gets the win. Absolutely phenomenal finish. Great match.
Yes, I agree. This was a really, really fun one. Great way to kick off the show after intermission. Really, really loved Shazza's gear. It was very unique, very like almost like Kat mentioned to me. It reminded her heavily of like Natalia Neidhart's old gear, but like sexier. And I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Very much so, yeah. Also, props to her hair, man. That ponytail, I don't know what freaking gel she uses, but like it stayed in pretty good shape for most of that match. That's pretty impressive, considering how rough these girls were with each other too.
Mm-hmm.
It stayed in really, really nice. You mentioned the only things that I really remembered of this one. I was just enjoying the show at this point.
Like you said, it's a good thing.
Hey, that's always a good thing. Keeps Melball from talking too much.
Yeah. So we are going to move on to. Sorry, something wasn't clicking for some reason. It is. And the next match is for the LPW Tag Team Championships. It's Paralias, Berat, Gorani, and Sheik Akbar Shabaz defending against Jabari and the man that needs to go back to 1970 because I don't like him, Levi Knight.
Jesus Christ! Between Cannon and this guy, man, you're savage.
Well, I'm not going to be mean to this guy. I just don't like him. Simple as that. I just don't like him. I'm not going to be mean to the guy, but
I mean, as I mentioned earlier, there's always got to be a weakest link somewhere. And unfortunately, in this team, it was him. What were they called? Chocolate and vanilla?
That's Jason started chanting chocolate and vanilla, so I turned to him and went, "Hey, they're chocolate and vanilla. They're swirl."
Oh God!
And then he started chanting.
Jesus! Swirl, Jason! Shout out to Jason. He's such a treasure. I love
Jason
him.
Rutledge, I love you, brother. I really love you. I know he's watching this, so Jason, I love you, brother.
He was dressed up as CM Punk. I love it. Our cosplaying fan, local fan. I love him.
It should have been dressed up as a young buck, you know.
That Melball wouldn't have been so happy to see that. I love seeing Sheiky though. Love watching him wrestle. My favorite thing that he does is that running, jumping European uppercut in the corner. Mm-hmm. I feel like he was a little tired when he got to that though, because it wasn't as far of a jump as he usually does, because he can usually do it from half to 3/4 across the way from the ring. And he was kind of like only a quarter away. I don't know, maybe he just tripped. I was still happy to see him. His gear looks great. Yeah. That new red pants. I haven't seen those before. I haven't seen him wrestle in a very, very, very long time. So it was nice to see him again. Him and Berat work so well together. Very, very smart yet slimy kind of tag team.
Yeah.
Very like you can tell that they're heels, but they work so well together and they have this kind of like nonchalant charisma about them that almost makes them not heelish. It's kind of like they're almost like an LIJ. They're almost neutral. They try to act heelish, but they're over with the crowd.
Yeah, they kind of do heel shit sometimes, but the crowd, like, against some people, again, other people, they do get booed, depending on who they're facing. But here, they're more over than Levi and Mo. So the crowd's kind of got behind them throughout this match. Again, I own a Berat Gorani shirt, and then me, the other dude that had a Berat Gorani shirt, and the guy with the Sheik shirt all stood up just like, yeah, as they're coming out. They were just, yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal. Levi at one point is like spinning, like doing rip cords on Berat, and then pulling him back in, then spitting him out like they're dancing. It was just like, so
yeah.
And then he brings him out, and then he hit a pretty decent hook kick.
He did,
yeah. Like for as much as I don't like the look, he's a good wrestler. Don't get me wrong, the kid's a good wrestler. I didn't like a good. Like I'm not saying great. I'm saying good. He's passable.
He's better than Cannon. We'll say that he's better than Cannon.
Yeah. Levi hits this really nice high drop kick. He's got height on his drop kicks, and then he does the front flip kip up. Looks like he's got some athleticism, man.
Well, he did. Kat was telling me he went to the Nightmare Factory. If you don't come out of that with some kind of skill, I mean, I'll be disappointed with you.
Yeah. Sheik ends up dropping Levi at one point and does a disco dance thing. And
yes.
Then he dropped the elbow. Absolutely. I saw him after
rhythm, sir.
I saw him after the show. I said, "Man, you can dance," and he just laughed.
Yeah, that's a matter of opinion. That was amusing, though. And again, that's that thing that I was telling you, that nonchalant charisma where they're just mucking about, and it ends up being really over with the crowd.
There's a really kind of cool spot where Sheiky picks up I think it was Levi, and then just places him on Berat, and Berat holds him, stands there just pulling a stretch muffler with Levi just hanging there.
Yeah.
That looked really good.
Yeah.
And then they pick him back up and hit like into an electric chair, like dual electric chair, and then bring him down with the face buster. Looked, I thought, really good. Shiek hit an inverted exploder off the top to Levi, but Mo ends up breaking up that pin. Mo gets the 10 count. Starts the 10 count punches on, I think it was on Shiek in the corner, or on Shiek in the corner, but then dives off and lands on Berat, or it was the other way around. He starts beating him on the mat, and as he's punching him on the mat, the crowd starts counting 1, 2, 3. I thought it was just the crowd there. I thought was really funny. At the end though, comes up. Berat hits the perfect 10. Shout out to Shaun Spears. He hits the perfect off the shoulders into the face buster. Shout out to perfect 10, the perfect 10 there. And then they hit what I like to call, because I don't know the actual name, it's the Para Destroyer, which is the Razor's Edge blockbuster combo, which just looks like it murders people. Yeah. And they hit what I call the Para Destroyer, and they get the win. They hit it onto Levi, and they got the win. But yeah, I thought really fun tag team match.
I really, really enjoyed it. I really don't like to look at the titles, but I really enjoyed this match.
They're very reminiscent of WWE's tag team penny championships that I hated. Like when the current tag titles, when they were just copper and they looked just like pennies. That's what it looks like, a giant penny.
Oh, I was gonna say, did I block that one out?
Well, they look at the current ones; they were just copper at the time, right?
Oh, okay.
This reminds me of, because it just looks like a big giant penny on a belt.
It is what it is, but they're sure proud of it, and it matches their gear.
It really does. It really does. So we're going to move on to the main event of the evening. It's the LPW Grand Championship. Zoe Sager defending her title against T.Y. Jackson, who earned this in a pretty hellish match with Michael and Richard Clark last month. He did earn this shot. It was a very good match to earn this one. Zoe pulling T.Y.'s hair to get the advantage early. Just a really good back and forth with these two, because you and me have watched T.Y. a bunch with Top Talent and RCW. Guy's a phenomenal talent. Like, this guy got incredible. And Zoe, as much as I don't like her, I think her character is very B-wordy. She's quite.
You've been saying fuck this whole time, and you're going to censor yourself on that?
She's a bitch. She acts like a bitch, but she's an absolutely really good professional wrestler. Like, she's really good in that ring. Like, she can go with anybody. She likes to cheat and do stupid things that doesn't need to happen, but yeah,
that's not a but. That's a problem. But
yeah, it's a giant problem. But yeah, Zoe getting a haluva kick at one point, and T.Y. drops and hits the running knee into the corner. Looked really good. T.Y. just flying around, looking phenomenal in this. Beautiful enziguri to Zoe, and goes up to the top, Zoe went up and he hit the enziguri while she's up top, and then hits a beautiful Rana off the top to her. That looked really good. Zoe comes off top at one point, hits a very Bryan Danielson like drop kick, and just sends T.Y. flying across the ring. I'm like, she has power on those drop kicks. That's for darn sure. T.Y. hits a Buseko knee, and then hits the Daniel, again, another shout out to Daniel Bryan, the Dan Bryan style corner drop kick, and then a lumbar check. And I'm thinking, it's fucking over. And she kicks out at 2. I'm like, God damn it. Zoe ends up dodging an enziguri and then hits a really nice code red, but again, only gets 2. And you could just see her getting frustrated. And Jason and his boys behind us started chanting Zoe's crying. And then a bunch of the people in the crowd started chanting Zoe's crying with them. And she literally goes, I'm not crying.
I mean, it's funny to add to that though, because like when you start having the childish temper tantrum to it, it adds to it. It adds enjoyment. It adds to the character. So that was a good choice on her part.
So T.Y. hits the disaster kick, but Zoe gets back up and spits in his face. Like, just full on just spits in his face. And
like, he took that a lot better than most people would, let me tell you.
Well, he went after her, and the ref's like, don't why did the ref kind of break it up? Like, it's a match. She was in the ropes, but still, it was just like,
well, that's why
she deserved it. And then she ends up setting him to the. She hits a German on him. He rolls to the floor, and she hits like a Bushi like rocket suicide dive to him. Just flies out there. Just like, it looked really good. And her landing was really good.
Yeah, they stuck the landing really good. Like, he landed in a chair, perfectly seated, just holding her. It's like, oh.
And she kind of like landing. It was really good. I really liked that. T.Y. gets a brain buster, and this is where the ref got knocked out. So T.Y. goes up, hits a 450, but still no ref. So he gets into the pin, and Fitz finally shows up and goes 1, 2, and he goes to count 3, but Zoe gets her foot on the ropes because
Zoe didn't get her foot on the ropes. Thickness put her foot on the ropes.
I was gonna say, because Thickness put it there. I was gonna say that. It looked like this guy's a dickhead.
He's doing what a manager is supposed to do, ensuring a win.
Yeah. Zoe hits a Z factor, but T.Y. kicks out at 2. T.Y. ends up turning another Z factor attempt into a deep 6 and hits the running heel kick, but Zoe ends up getting a low blow with the ref distracted. Oh, sorry, because the rematch because she had the foot on the ropes and the match ended. Sorry, I fucked this up. And
no, that was me interrupting you, fucking it up.
Yeah, so Fitzy awards the title to T.Y. The place is going crazy. Everybody's happy, and this is where fucking
Stu.
Oh, fucking
Stu.
I gotta boo you now, Stu. Sorry, you ruined this. He comes back in and says, "No, Zoe had her foot on the ropes." Again,
how would he know? He was unconscious on the opposite side of the ring.
That's what I'm saying. I was so pissed off. So and then Spencer agrees with Stu because he was the assigned referee to the match. He wasn't the one that made the goddamn count.
Well, maybe if he wasn't so fragile and didn't lay on the outside for about 5 minutes, after taking a not
yeah.
Like just having a nappy nap in the middle of the ring. No worries,
Yeah.
Most people do that in the bathroom at work as opposed to just on the side. But
yeah, this is where the match continues, and Thickness actually attacks Ben on the floor, and Zoe hits the Z factor, but T.Y. kicks out at 2. And this is where T.Y. turns another Z factor into a deep 6, sends her across the ring. It's the running heel kick, and she ends up kind of near the apron. So he's grabbing her, pulling her back in the ring, but she's pulling the apron in with her. So Stu, for some stupid reason, thinks I should fix the apron and not call the match, the dumbass. So he goes to fix the apron, and she kicks him in the nuts. And I'm like, and then she hits a Z factor, and she wins the goddamn match.
You say he was just a problem in this match. I say he was a problem all night. He kind of is he's a Melball. Like, I can absolutely tell you, if I was in that situation too, if I'm sitting there, there's too much going on. I can't focus on one thing or the other. I'm just going to be like, and not paying attention to what's happening over here. So he does just stand there in one corner and just like, There was a few times he was in the way. Like, bro, open the eyes. Stop smoking before the show. Freaking pay attention to what you're doing. Like, you're in charge of these people's health and safety and your own. You have to multitask.
Well, I think we've been spoiled in this province having a guy like Fitzy, who's such a phenomenal referee, and having even Ben, like before he became a manager. Ben is an absolutely tremendous referee. So having two guys like them, even Smalls to a degree, for the most part, is a fairly competent referee. For the most part, he has.
He's more competent than the other one at Top Talent. So yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just even. But yeah, we've been kind of spoiled, especially with Fitzy and Ben, with how good they are as referees. I will never see another referee as good as them. You know what I mean? Because they both are so good. We've been spoiled in this province that every other ref does not measure up to how good those two are, and that's a big problem. So that's it's a big problem. So Ben, Fitzy, make the other refs better. Come on.
I mean, that's also though technically on the refs that themselves. They need to go to these guys and be like, look, how do I be as good as you? How do I make them not hate me?
Yeah. So do you have any more stuff on the match before we go to the post match?
No, we can go to post.
So post match, Gigi comes back out, and her music hits. Everybody's like, "Yeah!" And Gigi comes out, and her and Zoe start brawling, and Thickness is breaking them up. Then they start brawling again, and Thickness breaks them up. So Gigi gets a mic. She calls Zoe disgrace, and then she says, "I just beat Shazza McKenzie." Said she's earned a title shot. Zoe then gets the mic, says she hasn't done anything to deserve the shot. She will defend against all comers except you, bitch. Is what she said. I'm like, ooh, she got words. So Spencer comes in. He's just yelling. He's sick of this. He already has to deal with a giant fight. He's already pissed off from shit earlier. Says a bunch of crap. I don't know what the fuck it was. Literally wrote Spencer craps out his mouth, saying shit about how good Zoe is and how well she's held it down.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say.
She has not. She's been just cheating to hold it down. So, no. He then announces next month, 3 stages of hell, Gigi Rey versus Zoe Sager, and I've got the card here. We're going to get a singles match, then a submission match, and if it's needed, and it's pro wrestling, so it's probably going to be needed, a ladder match to finish it. I am actually...
it would be kind of contradictive to have a 3 stages of hell match and not actually make it to the 3rd stage.
Again, I've never seen a 3 stages of hell or a best of 3 match, anything like that, ever go to. If they might have, can't recall one ever happening. Personally, no. I would love to see it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's the ladder match actually is the one part of it that kind of like made me kind of tilt my head a little bit at it, because I'm like, so is it going to be just hanging there the whole time in a just in case situation? And if like, what happens if Zoe wins the singles match, wins the submission match? Does she still got to climb up the ladder to retrieve her belt after that?
She'll make Thickness do it.
Oh, so he's her James Ellsworth.
Well, he's her like Diesel, or like he's the heat. He's her heater. He's her bodyguard. He's the bodyguard, but she'll make him climb, or she'll make him like help her climb the ladder or something. you know it's going to be that. But yeah, but I think absolutely phenomenal. I had a great time at this show. I had a great freaking time.
It was actually really, really nice because it was again my first time being at this venue, being at the show. The production was really, really good. It was nice to have a frickin' seat.
It was.
Sit the frick down.
We had a table. We were at a regular.
I mean, I was getting to it. I mean, we had a menu, full menu. We had people come, like we had a server coming to the table, and it just. I hate to be that person, but it's like when we go to other shows, like Top Talent, you have to fight for a chair to get there. Then when you get there, also and you get your chair, you have to hope to goodness that someone doesn't take it or move your shit when you're reserving it when you try to go get food. And there's usually only one person working at the food thing, so you gotta wait like 10 or 15 minutes. If you're going in the show, chances are you're gonna miss a match. Just waiting for food. And then if you didn't get a seat, then you have to stand there with your food. And it's just, as someone who likes to get like this when I go out, it also means that the rest of me, unlike when I'm podcasting, is gussed up too. And I like to wear heels. I like to feel fancy. If I have to stand for 3 hours just to watch a freaking wrestling show, I'd rather not. Like, the only way I'm going to do that is if it's a music concert, because that's for me is worth it. But it's like, the venue and everything was really, really nice. It's a little far for a girl to go when, if she's not getting a ride, but she's getting a ride. So she's happy. Overall, like, if I had to rate this show, 10 out of 10, I had a great time.
The only thing that disappointed me is Zoe kept her belt. That's the only thing that disappointed me on this show.
I mean, did we really think that she was going to lose it, though?
I was hoping.
I mean, we wanted her to, because I would have rather heard TY song again, because I love Necklace. That's a great song. It's on my workout music now. I love it so much. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they're building him to it. He's going to get there eventually. But she did just kind of win this title not too long ago, didn't she?
January. It's been
And
6
I
months.
guess it has she defended it every single show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't see her losing it.
Like, she's had a great track record of defenses, but all of her defensive have come in. Her wins have come in a dirty way. She's always cheating to win.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I could tell from the moment she came out with Thickness because I didn't realize she was a heel based on her appearance. When she came out with Thickness and she was kind of being the moody broody thing, I was like, oh, she's a heel. I didn't realize that. The music does not suggest she's a heel. The gear does not suggest she's a heel.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, maybe I would, but then again, like we have so many of these heel girls like Rhea Ripley who are just like dark and moody and broody and gothic and all that shit. But it's like we can't have too many of that either.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the look is a little contradictive to me as to what the attitude is.
But the look is is pretty much the same look she had before she became a bad girl, I guess, for lack of better words.
We'll say evil. She entered her villain era.
Yeah, her villain era. That actually is perfect. I love that.
Thank you. I know. Anyway, that being said, Maleficent went through her good girl villain era. Maybe she can evolve into something a little differently, but then again, like gear's costly.
It ain't cheap.
No, it is not.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming and watching Chop Talk with us. We really do appreciate it. Before we go, Melball, where can they find you?
If you want to follow a Melball, you can follow me on Twitter at Collins Melball, or you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, and Facebook at Melball Collins. That is the smoothest I have ever delivered that.
I think so.
Yes. Also, you can find me on our local establishment, Original Programming, Paramindful, every other Monday. We are not having one coming out this coming Monday, but the following Monday, we have Alex the Werewolf and the Gold Standard Carl Calrofel joining me to talk about Bigfoot and Bigfoot sightings, Bigfoot stories, both Canadian and American stories, just to kind of see what the similarities are in there. And you can also catch me on Astrid Pizarro's YouTube channel in the Ladies Wrestling Showcase show, where we talk all things Amazing Ladies Wrestling Showcase. We're probably going to be talking about this because, like, again, Shazza debuted in Canada first time, so I definitely want to shout her out on the next show. That should be coming out not this week. Oh no, it will be coming out this week because we missed last week because Astrid was in Miami doing a panel. Mm-hmm. Love Astrid. So proud of you, girl. Mm-hmm. Andre, if the people are wanting to follow you on social media and see you throughout the week, where are they going to find you?
At that Canada on Twitter, Mastodon, Hive, and now TikTok. I broke down and got it because I wanted to do mostly because I want to do the Pokemon thing.
There's a Pokemon thing?
I'll send it to you. On Instagram, at that Canada Dude. You can find me at youtube.com/Andre Melball Wrestling Talk, where you might be watching us right now. You can find us on the Facebook page. Finger. There. Up there at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk on Facebook. You might be watching us on our YouTube page, but you might be watching us over on Backbreaker Media. So if you're on Backbreaker Media, please go over to our channel, give us a follow, but give Backbreaker Media a follow. Please check them out. You can also check out all the other great stuff they do over on Backbreaker Gaming at youtube.com/@Backbreaker_gaming. And then if you want to see Mike do all the gaming stuff live that he does, you can see him at twitch.tv/Mike the Ref. But over on Backbreaker Gaming, you've got Mike stuff. You have Rick Jules' stuff. You have PJC stuff. You got lots of great content coming out over there. If I ever do any gaming stuff, that's where I'll put it. And then you can find me every Wednesday going right now doing a Secret Invasion review on our local establishment at youtube.com/@OurLocalEstablishment. Depending on the week and what we're doing, it might be live on Twitch and it might be on just later on YouTube. We don't. It's the weeks are depending. Week 1 was live. Week 2 was pre-recorded. Week 3, I'm going to be at Dynamite, so probably pre-recorded.
Chaos, beautiful chaos.
Beautiful, beautiful chaos. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here. Jason, I know you're watching. Thank you very much, my brother. Everybody else who's watching, thank you so very much. Please leave the comments down below. We want to hear from you. We want to talk to you. We want to talk to you about professional wrestling in every form. Please put in comments below. And also message us over on Andre Melball Wrestling Talk on Facebook. We love to hear from you. So please like the video, comment down below, hit the notification bell so you know when we're dropping new shows. It's always a good idea. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us here. Melball.
We have to do this because I have been forgetting it every show. If you're wanting to catch LPW live, we will leave a link in the description box below to get your tickets. They will have, I think, when was the next show again? July 28th?
Right there, July 28th at the Rec Room here in Edmonton. Please join us. And if you see this and you're coming up, tell us, because we would love to see. We would love, if you've watched this and you're coming to the show, please talk to us. Tell us you're coming because you saw it here.
Say hello. And that being said, Andre, do you have anything else to say to the beautiful people?
Just thank you so much.
That being said, I am your Melball. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Mwah!